Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're calling in from. Happy Friday. So excited it's Friday. It's been a long week. Um, Happy to be here today to talk about something a little bit different. Got my coffee and one of my favorite mugs. Love this one. Um, Hope you all have your coffee or your tea, whatever you feel like having right now. So I'm excited for our chat today. It's a little bit different than a lot of the other topics that I've covered during the UX and coffee. This one is about financial independence and the importance of it as we think about our careers. This came up recently because I gave a talk at Pratt where I'm teaching an advanced UX research methods class. And I gave a career talk about my career path and where I've been and influential experiences and people along the way. And I ended with some tips for people in their careers. And I realized that while some of my tips were about, believing in yourself even when other people don't agree with your decisions and, working hard and like these kinds of tips, I had one that was about finances and planning financially. And I just realized how important that actually has been in my career. And I just wanted to share some things that have been helpful for me and I think could be really helpful for a lot of people. And if we plan, even if we don't plan everything, right? And anybody who knows me knows that I go with the flow and I, shift gears and have these experiences in life. But financially, if we plan just a little bit, it really leads to freedom in our future. And I want to share some things to show you that it's actually not that hard. So, one thing to think about is sometimes people think they can't save because of their current expenses and maybe they're just not making enough. They're making enough to make ends meet and they really think they can't save. But I want to encourage you to think about what you can save, what you can give up so you can save. So think about $20 a week. That might be two Starbucks coffees. That might be two cocktails out at the bar. If 2 days a week, or maybe that's even just one day a week, depending on how much coffee or alcohol you consume, right? But like if two days a week, two coffees you're going to make at home, just two in your entire week, or those two cocktails, one night, you're not going to have those cocktails at the bar, but you're going to have a couple of beers at home. $20, just $20 a week. $20 a week over 20 years is $20,800. That's only $20 a week. Right? So like if you shift your mental model into it, take it from, I don't have enough to save, shift that to how much can I save? And if $20 a week is too much for you, maybe it's $10 a week. Maybe it's $5 a week. Maybe it's $20 a month. Think about what is comfortable for you and then just stick to it. Be disciplined where no matter what, that $20 a week is going into your savings account. You might want to have one of those big jars. People like that. They like the visual. But another little tip I'm going to share with you, what is better to do with that money is to put it into a high yield savings account. So a lot of people don't know about high yield savings accounts. Many people think about savings accounts at their traditional bank. They have a checking, they have a savings account, and neither of those are accruing much interest, right? It's like less than 1%. High yield savings accounts tend to be associated with banks that don't have brick and mortar, right? They're online banks. They're legit banks. I mean, we're talking about Marcus by Goldman Sachs. It's Goldman Sachs. It's legit. Vanguard has a cash plus savings account. Ally, I love Ally. Ally is an online bank. I have checking and savings with Ally. But this is for the high yield savings account, right? American Express has a high yield savings account. So they're traditionally associated, with banks that don't have brick and mortar. So they can give higher interest rates. So currently those high yield, and there's more, by the way, if you just do a quick search for like best high yield savings account, best rates right now, you'll find other ones. But right now, those savings accounts are getting interest of 4 to 5%, 4 to 5% on your money. Even if you have $100 in there, you're going to make 4 to 5% on that $100, right? So you're just slowly dripping into there, do it consistently and let it accrue interest. And soon you're going to have, $20,000. Now you might think 20 years is so far away, it's going to take me forever to get there, right? It's hard to conceptualize 20 years from now. But think about 20 years ago. Think about what you've done in the past 20 years, right? Like, first of all, it flies by. When I think about 20 years ago, it doesn't feel like 20 years ago when I actually think about where I was and the things I was doing. But but additionally, I think like, holy crap, I've done a lot in the past 20 years. So if I try to even imagine where I'm going to be in 20 years, what I'm going to be doing, what I will have accomplished in the next 20 years of my life, right? There's a lot that's going to occur. So the point there is, the time does go by slowly or quickly, depending on what you're focusing on. But that constant drip, before you know it, 20 years have gone by and you've got a lot of money saved. The freedom that money gives you is, at any time, if you have a job and you don't like it, you now have a financial runway. And, depending on how you live, depending on what you need, will dictate how long that runway will last. But let's say you've put away $20 a week for 20 years. It's going to be over $20,000 because it's going to be accruing interest that whole time. And let's say you, anytime you have a little bit extra, you have a gift, you put a little bit more in there. It could be an extra $5. It could be an extra $100. It could be $1,000, depending on, how you're doing financially. So you're just constantly adding to this account, constantly adding to this account. And then all of a sudden, you've got this financial runway. And you get to decide, like, all right, let's say that 20 is actually 40 now because you've added and it's accrued interest. So $40,000. Okay, how long will $40,000 last me? Will it last me a year? Will it last me 6 months? Will that last me 2 months? It depends on your lifestyle, depends on how you're living, what your expenses are. If you have dependents and how much what your expenses are and how you want to live. But it doesn't matter. It gives you a runway. That could be 1 month runway. That could be 2 month runway. That could be a whole year runway. And think about how powerful that is now. At any time in your life, whether intentionally you decide, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work at this company anymore, whatever. You intentionally decide, you know what, I'm going to leave and I'm going to make a change in my life. This is the time and I've got the money and I can do it, right? Or if you lose your job, which, the market has been so wonky lately, there have been so many layoffs. Having that financial security will make the layoff less painful because you're prepared. You're prepared. Then you can take your time and figure out what you're going to do next. And if it takes a while to get a job, which, we've seen a lot of that lately. There are hundreds of people applying for jobs, for single jobs, so like it takes a little while. And if you've got that financial runway, then that is much less painful. And, maybe you can enjoy it and do other things during that time while you're working on getting another job. But if you don't plan financially, then you just won't be able to. And then this is why people end up getting stuck in jobs they hate and they won't leave. And we get stuck in those golden handcuffs because we're making the money and we need the money. Traditionally people make more and spend more. And that's another thing. When you make more, don't spend more. Maybe you want a little addition to your life because you're making more now and you can. So maybe you want a little addition. But what you shouldn't do is spend it all. You make $100 more and you spend $100 more, and you shouldn't do that. You make $100 more, spend $20 more. But all that extra, don't change your lifestyle so much that you're spending all of that extra that you're making, right? Put that away, and you don't change how you live. You might have heard of FIRE. So FIRE is a movement. It's financial, I think it stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And it's this system, very structured system to help people spend less, don't take on debt, save. And there's tricks on how to save, like maxing out what you can put in your HSA and things like that people don't take advantage of. Excuse me. And the notion is there, if you follow this program, that you can retire well before the traditional age of 65. So there are actual programs like that too, which are amazing. But what I'm trying to share is it's not even that complicated. It's just really being committed to paying yourself, So this is another thing that happens. We end up with debt. whether it be the mortgage, the car, the credit cards, the school, right? We end up with debt. And then when people get paid, they want to quickly pay down the debt because they've learned pay down the debt, right? Don't pay interest, don't hold debt. We got to pay all that off, but they forget to pay themselves. So let's imagine you have your high yield savings account that's accruing 5%. But meanwhile, you have a mortgage that you're paying 2.99% on, right? Your money will grow faster. It makes more sense to put that into the 5% yield because it makes more than what the mortgage cost, right? Your 5% is higher than the 2.99% that you're paying. So literally it makes more sense to accrue that 5% than it does to pay down more of your mortgage. Which is a strategy to pay down. You don't have to have a 30-year mortgage. If you are paying a little bit extra every month, you will knock off interest and you will pay your mortgage down faster. So over the life of a loan, you actually pay less in interest. So that's a strategy, right, to pay off a mortgage faster. But I encourage you to pay attention to how much that money cost. How much did that money actually cost? And if it's low, like 2.99%, then your money accruing interest elsewhere actually it makes more than if you're paying down the interest. So those are two strategies I just shared, right? Like paying down the mortgage faster by paying more, but also thinking about how much that money is costing versus how much you can make by putting it elsewhere. And high yield savings accounts are easy. They're actual savings accounts. And by the way, I'm not being paid to talk about high yield savings accounts. I just recognize that a lot of people don't know about them. The regular savings accounts you could have, there's no minimum to put in there, no minimum time it needs to be in there. Some of these accounts come with a debit card. You can get your money out anytime, just like a savings account. It's not a money market. It's not a CD. It's not investing in the market. It's literally a high yield savings account. Once your high yield savings account gets to certain amounts, if you want to take that and invest and be a little risky with it, go for it. That's your prerogative. But I'm just saying, put it in a high yield savings account. That is like number one. Everybody should go out and open a high yield savings account right away, and frankly close all those silly ones that accrue like less than 1%. They're just, the banks are using your money. What else did I want to say? I wanted to talk about side gigs. So this is the other thing. Some people think, I can't put away money. I'm making just enough to get by, and like that's it. And it's like very structured. And then when you think about side gigs, they're like, well, what am I going to do, right? And they just don't think broadly. And I've had side gigs my whole life. Literally, when I was younger, when I was in grad school, I was bartending, so there's like those typical kind of side gigs where it's like bartending or waitressing, which, if that's your thing, then cool, that's fun. You can make some good money doing those kinds of things, catering, that kind of traditional, those kinds of roles. But there's other really fun ones. Oh, the other things that I've been doing, like I teach, many of you know that I teach. I've been teaching for years, and it's been on the side, right? I consult on the side. Even right now, that's my full-time gig, but in my career, when I've had full-time gigs, I've consulted on the side, here and there, picking up little projects here and there. My teaching money for a long time was my travel money. But now, I'm not that strict in terms of like the buckets. But you can do that too, right? You have a side gig and it's like, what are you putting your side gig to? Maybe X percentage is going to go to paying down that debt, because that's important too, right? Financial freedom. You don't want all that debt following you everywhere. So maybe your side gig percentage is going to go to that debt, percentage is going to go to your travel fund, and a percentage is going into that high yield savings account, and you're not going to touch it, right? So it's discipline. It's figuring out how to make that extra money, and then discipline about where you're putting it and what you're doing with it. But don't forget to pay yourself, right? Yes, it's important to pay down your debt, but if 20 years goes by and you're just chipping away at your debt and you're not paying yourself and putting money in a savings account that's accruing interest, if you're not doing that, then 20 years goes by and you still have nothing. Maybe you've gotten rid of your debt, which is great, but then you still have nothing. So my recommendation, and what has worked for me, is chipping away at all of it. You pay yourself. There's this notion of pay yourself first. It's like pay yourself and chip away at all that debt. I don't think I shared this, but about 20 years ago, I was in debt and struggling. I was a poor graduate student and I had this debt. And I was bartending, I had a side gig, but it was so hard because I was in debt and it was really, really difficult. And once I paid all that debt down and, gained freedom, I decided that I will never, ever do that again. And so it's made me aware of things like high yield savings accounts. And like I pay attention. There are some podcasts and things like that where you can listen to money experts and pick up tips and tricks. Those are all great, but I have to tell you, it has to come from within. You have to decide, like I did, I will never be in that situation again. Like you have to decide, I want to be free. I want to be financially free. And I'm going to start today. I'm going to start chipping away at it right now. I'm going to start paying myself first. I'm going to stick $20 into a high yield savings account and I'm going to start accruing interest right away. When you see that interest coming in, it's like, oh, there it is, little by little. At the beginning, you might be making $5 a month. It's $5 free dollars that you're making. And you'll see that grow, which is really, really powerful. It's freedom. To me, it's freedom. But let's talk about some of these side gigs. So I mentioned stuff that I've done, right? But I want to tell you some other things that I've seen and things that other people are doing. I have a friend who makes these beautiful cakes. It's her side hustle. They are the most beautiful cakes. We're talking about really fancy with flowers and for children's birthdays, like beautiful decoration. I don't even know what you want to call it. They're gorgeous. It's her side gig. And she's made a nice business out of it. But it's fun for her. It's her creative energy. So she's actually having fun doing it, but then also making money. I just saw a sign this morning when I was walking the dogs. It was like we hang Christmas lights. That's a side hustle. Well, I don't know, maybe it's their full time, but that made me think, like, what a fun side hustle. Like if you're creative and you like to do that kind of thing, do it for other people. Other people will be delighted that you're going to come over and hang up their Christmas lights. They'll tell you what they want and you do that. That's like a thing. It's a side hustle. Balloon arches. Some of you know I have a little, that's one of my little side hobbies is making balloon arches for parties. Carpentry, ceramic tile. I know people who do these kinds of works. In the UX field, websites, like I know designers and developers who do it on the side. They're creating logos. People need logos, like advertise to people that you are available for work. And that's your thing, make a little portfolio, make some logos, put it on a website, show what you're able to do, show different kinds of styles, and then people will hire you. Oftentimes it's word of mouth. It's like, I didn't even know you create logos, but I saw it on your LinkedIn. I need a logo. I reach out to you. My friend then is telling me about their company. I recommend you to them, right? It's like this trickle down effect. So, just what are you good at? What do you like to do? And then you need a way to advertise it. Make a web page or even a Facebook business page, a LinkedIn business page, even if you don't want a bona fide website, right? Instagram is a great way to put up images of whatever it is you do. So if you're, doing carpentry or you're doing balloon arches or you make logos, right? Instagram is a great way to show people what you do. And then again, share that with your friends, share that with your family, post it on your LinkedIn, share that you're doing this, and then it'll trickle. What else? I wrote down some things. Oh, framing. I had a friend who used to do framing, which is really cool for picture frames. They really enjoyed that kind of work. It was a side gig, made some extra money making frames for people. Dog walking. Oh, this is P2P services. So peer-to-peer services have really picked up. And that's another interesting way to think about, like, what do I have to share, right? A couple of years ago, I was traveling a ton. I was living by myself and I Airbnb'd my house. I put internal locks on some of the doors, including my bedroom. So I did an Airbnb my bedroom and the basement. So I was able to lock those doors, put things away. On some of the kitchen cabinets, I put some locks. And then I Airbnb'd my house, right? And that was kind of like the Airbnb model. That was probably the first. I think that was like the first peer-to-peer like sharing. Then there was Uber, right? So maybe you love driving and you like want to drive a little bit, right? And do some like ride sharing type thing. I see people who have that as a side hustle. The cool thing about and then dog walking. So my dog walker, for example, I met on Rover. That's how I found my dog walker. So there are these services now, right? Just like there's Airbnb and there's Uber, there's Rover. Rover also has dog boarding. Maybe you love dogs, you don't have your own dog, you'd like to have a dog once in a while. You can get paid for it, literally. And you can choose. What I like about all these services is you can choose. So you put your profile up. So whether it's Airbnb, it's your home. Turo is another one, peer-to-peer car. If you have an extra car or you don't drive your car much, you can literally rent it out on Turo. So same thing, you have a profile with your car. Rover, you have a profile. I have a profile as a dog owner, but dog sitters have their profile. And what I like about all these is it's not instant booking. I think you can set any of these up for instant booking, but what you can also do is instead of instant booking, you approve the request. So if somebody wants to Airbnb your house, you can set it so you have to approve that request. If somebody wants you to dog sit or walk their dog, they put in a request and then you accept it. So you love dogs, you don't have a dog, you'd love to have a dog once in a while. You literally can put up your profile. You could say specifically, I only watch little dogs. I only watch Dobermans. I have not seen one that specific, but you can imagine you can do something like that. Or you could say like only one dog at a time. And then when somebody wants to board with you or wants you to walk their dog, you get to see who that dog is. And if you're interested in walking that dog or boarding that dog. So I like that about these peer-to-peer services. I love sharing. I think it's a really cool evolution in our society. But, think about what you're comfortable sharing. Some people aren't comfortable doing any of these things, and that's totally fine. But maybe you like to restore furniture. I met somebody recently who has that as a side gig. It's just fun for them. They buy old furniture, old crap furniture that what's crap to other people. They sand it down, they put new cushions, they do whatever. And they're beautiful pieces of furniture that have been restored that they then sell and make money on. So like a couple of things to think about are like, what are you good at? But another thing is like, what's fun for you? And why not make some extra money doing something that's really fun for you? Affiliate marketing is another one that I don't know too much about, but I know people have made money off of affiliate marketing. So that's where like you might have a blog or, a website, you might have some product like that where you can actually sell things from there. Maybe it's your recommendations. Whenever anybody clicks on that link and goes to make a purchase, let's say you're directing them to products that are on Amazon. Maybe you make a web page and you're like, these are my favorite products. Maybe you restore furniture and you have a web page on your website where you promote products you love, such as stain, right, for furniture, or some buffing kind of stuff, or whatever that's pertaining to the thing you do, right? For us UX researchers, maybe you create a web page and it has like your favorite books, your favorite UX books. Whenever anybody makes a click and goes to, let's say, Amazon to make a purchase, you get paid. So it's affiliate marketing where you have links that lead to other things where people buy basically you're recommending products. And when people make a purchase, you make a cut. So like affiliate marketing is a cool thing that you can get into, depending on your field. Maybe you're a really avid gamer and you've got a huge network of gamers and you want to promote some stuff pertaining to gaming, including a gaming chair and equipment and headphones, right? Like think about the things you use in your career, in your area of expertise, and think about how you might be able to make money literally off of making recommendations. So affiliate marketing is another one. Another one that I haven't gotten into that people love and that I just haven't done yet is ads. Like if you have a really active YouTube channel, you can have ads. You can allow ads on your YouTube channel, and because it's your site, it's your YouTube channel. Whenever somebody watches those ads, whenever anybody sees those ads, you get paid. So like that's another little side gig where literally you're doing nothing. You're creating your own content. And then you're getting paid whenever anybody watches the content. So, think about what you want to create content on. My parents, they have a YouTube channel it's Cooking with Josephine. Go check it out. There's some good Italian recipes on there. But for a while, I don't think they've put stuff on there in a long time. But for a while, they were putting cooking videos. My mom cooks and my dad films, and then they had their own YouTube channel. Like I said, I don't think they've put anything up there in a while. But they literally had a physical check coming in the mail from YouTube, from ads on their YouTube channel. So it's like, think outside the box. I guess that's the thing when it comes to side hustles. Like, think outside the box. What do you like to do? What are you good at? Which may be the same thing and they may be different, right? Like, I may like to create mosaic tables, something I would like to do actually in the future. But what am I good at? I'm really good at UX research. I can do it with my eyes closed. People want to work with me. Like, that's the thing I'm good at, and I could do really quickly. But then there's like the hobby kind of things that you can make money off of. So those are two things. But then there's that other passive income kind of thing, like ads on YouTube or affiliate marketing. So think about that and what works for you. So think about those side gigs. Excuse me. Think about what you're already making and how much you're comfortable putting away every week. Do it every week. Do it every week. If you're getting paid with direct deposit and you can automatically route it into a separate account, do it. Have it automated. If you're working with cash, whatever you're doing, go and stick it in the bank. Make that bank account, and you're not going to touch that money. You're just going to squirrel it away and let it accrue interest. Put that in a high yield savings account and do it religiously. Don't forget to pay yourself. And then obviously pay down those credit cards and things that are high interest, but don't forget to pay yourself. Because I promise you that in 10, 20 or more, right? You're squirreling it away. Just make it a habit, like brushing your teeth every morning. Just squirrel away that money. And I promise you that you are giving yourself a financial freedom that will allow you to have control over your career. Hope this was helpful. I know this is a little different than what we normally talk about. Would love your feedback. And I'll see you all soon. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you soon.